The story behind the Youngstown Community Food Center starts at the lowest point of Joe Lordi's life. He found himself without a job and with a family to take care of. He was at the end of his rope. He cried, he prayed, he never wanted anyone to be standing where he was, and he was asking for help.
And it was when I went on welfare, my car was a station wagon, it was paid for. They said it was $500 too much on the blue book, and I couldn't get all the food stamps that were allowed, that I should put it in somebody else's name. Well, I didn't want to put it in my mother's name. She don't want to have that responsibility. And my wife would say, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, put it in your dad's name then. And it was like me going against her because we couldn't find ways to get this thing solved.
With only a few weeks to go before Home Savings and Loan would foreclose on his home, he didn't know where to turn.
Called around. I called my pastor at church and went to see him, and he wrote me out a personal check. And he said, well, what's your plans? And I said, well, I'm going to try to start a program to help people like I'm in my position. Well, in the meantime, I haven't paid no mortgage payments. I was getting behind. I was a year behind. And on a Saturday, I was sitting out on a front porch, and about 2 o'clock, the mailman pulls up, puts the mail in the mailbox, and continues to come up the driveway. And he says, here, you got to sign this form.
That form was the notice for the pending sheriff's sale of his home. Joe cried and he prayed, and he decided to take a chance on gaining some support to open a food pantry that would be accessible to people who were like him, down on their luck with no time to wait for their welfare system to sort it all out.
Anyway, I got back up after bawling my eyes out, went upstairs, and I decided to send letters out to companies and individuals to help me put together a committee or open some doors or a board or something like that.
Joe's wife wasn't exactly on board, but then a letter came from someone named J.J. Cafaro. He was on the other side of that call for help.
So Thursday comes, I get ready. I don't know this individual from Adam. I'm sitting in the parking lot. I said, God, I don't know what I'm going to ask this guy. I wasn't excited or nothing because I knew I had 8 days to go before the bank forecloses.
In one meeting and one phone call, JJ took care of Joe's mortgage arrears and took over the payments moving forward. And he helped make Joe's vision to open a food bank a reality. The current Piatt Street location was also part of a stroke of good luck for Joe. The former owner of the Piatt Street Diner offered to let the food bank use his spare room with a freezer. And almost 40 years later, Joe is still taking food before it goes to waste and is getting it to people directly. No agency, no organization, no church required. Every Tuesday, over 400 people line up.
And he says, I have a small building at the end of where his restaurant was. It's got a little cooler, it's got heat, won't charge you nothing for it. You can use it if you need it. I said, I appreciate it. Well, the first day went. The next day it was like 0 degrees. About the third day it was still cold. I went up to see him. I said, that offer still available? He said, yes. So we moved up there, and we were there for like 25 years. I've been doing this almost 40 years.
The Youngstown Community Food Center has people helping quietly from all over the area. They support Joe, knowing that he does his very best to get food to people who need it immediately. When Joe found out that his food center was the winner of the Steel Light MVR Charity Bocce Tournament, his response to the $20,000 donation was simply overwhelming, and the timing was almost unreal. The Friday before the tournament, Joe had to buy a truck for the food center.
I don't know what to say, but thank you. And that's what I told Robert. He goes, what are you crying for? I said, because our back's always up against the wall, but we get through. God has a way to bring us through. But the pressure, it's always there. It just, people don't understand it.